All right, and good morning. So, today we're going to kick off things with a question. What happens to an ecosystem when all of its organisms are the same? Today we're talking about a thing called biodiversity. And I know you've heard it before. As a matter of fact, we went over it yesterday. That is a variety of life in an area. That's quite literally the definition of biodiversity. From bugs to birds to trees to tiny little fungi. Biodiversity is what makes ecosystems strong. On the flip side, there's the opposite. And that thing, well, you're not so cultured with, and that thing is called monoculture. I want everybody to repeat that. Monoculture. All right. And monoculture is where an area is filled with only one species. Imagine a giant field with nothing but one type of crop, or a whole forest of only one kind of tree. Now, here's the question, why do scientists care? I mean, well, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because everything's the same. Well, that's not too bad, right? Actually, it is. Because when everything's the same, one little change like a new pest, a heat wave, or a disease can destroy an entire ecosystem. But when there's a variety, the system has backup. It can bend, bounce back, and even most of the time survive. Now, let's look at the big question for today. The big question is, what happens to an ecosystem when all of its organisms are the same? So, let's break it down. I'm going to write the word monoculture. Monoculture. It forms when humans plant one species over and over, like a forest of log pile pines or a field of cloned bananas. It may look neat and organized, but there's a hidden risk. It means genetic similarity. Oh, I wrote that wrong. Similarity. Now, here's the problem. Genetic similarity doesn't sound like too bad of a thing, but it really is. Genetic similarity is when one thing has all of the same genes. It's essentially like twins. If the whole world was made up of twins, we would have some major problems, wouldn't we? If disease or insects know how to wipe out that one thing, then it can affect all of the trees, and nothing can fight it off. And here's the thing, this has happened lots of times in history. There's been several. One of the major ones is the Irish potato famine. Everyone planted the same type of potato, one single type of fungus showed up, and boom, millions lost food, and millions more lost their lives. Banana plantations. Most are clones. Most bananas are clones. One disease like Panama fungus could potentially wipe out all bananas. And here's the problem. Bananas have no genetic difference. It is all genetically similar. It's all genetically similar. And that means that if there was a fungus that wanted to wipe out bananas, we would just lose bananas. Now, let's talk a little bit about the good part of this. Biodiversity. Nature's secret weapon. It gives ecosystems what we call stability, the ability to resist or recover from change. With more species, some can resist the disease. Others can survive droughts or heat. Some serve as a backup, food or shelter if one species disappears. Think of it like this. Biodiversity is a safety net. If one thread breaks, others hold the system up. Rainforests, coral reefs, grasslands, they're packed with biodiversity. And that's why they're so strong, until we mess them up. Now, here's the thing. We're going to do a classroom simulation. So, everyone is going to get the same shaped card. It's going to be an index card. You will all represent the same tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give one person a disease card. And that person's going to walk around and shaking hands with people. And here's the thing. Everyone in the room is going to shake hands with 3 people. Okay, so pause here and we'll do that. All right, I hope that you have done that. Now we're going to go round 2. We're going to talk about a biodiverse forest. That first round was all the same tree. It was monoculture. Now we're going to do a diverse forest. Now everyone gets different shapes, and the disease can only affect matching shapes. It spreads, but only to a few. Some trees will survive. Pay attention to this. I want you to pay attention to how quickly the disease can spread. Did anyone survive? What made the difference? This shows us how biodiversity slows collapse. Not everyone responds in the same way, and that's a good thing. Now, data and evidence, well, each group, you're going to calculate the biodiversity index, the number of species divided by the number of total organisms. You're going to figure that out here in a minute, okay? Now, here's the thing. Now that we are done with all of that, you are going to create a CR. Remember, the claim should be about 2 sentences. For example, let's say this. Let's say my claim, I'm going to write claim. My claim is that ecosystems with, I'm going to just draw an arrow for more, biodiversity are more stable. Now, why? Because, I'm just going to put BC for because. You guys will write out because. Not all organisms respond to stress in the same way. Okay, so that's simple enough. There's my claim. Now, my evidence would be that in our simulation, just going to put sim for simulation, the monoculture forest, I'm just going to put monoc. All right, we had a little technical difficulty there. So on this one, I'm going to put monoc. In our sims of the monoculture, let's see, where are we? The monoculture forest collapsed quickly. Now, why is that? Well, because obviously there was only one organism. Then you're going to give the reasoning. Now, I'm not going to write all this, but my reasoning would be when there's genetic variations in different species, the ecosystem is more resilient. Some organisms resist disease or provide alternatives. The whole system doesn't fall apart when one thing falls apart. So back to our big question here. What happens when an ecosystem is filled with just one organism? Well, it becomes fragile. And when it becomes fragile, some bad things can happen very easily. When it becomes fragile, one pest, one disease, and everything could fall. So, our last little part here is vocab. Vocab. All right, so you already should know biodiversity, but you shouldn't know monoculture. And monoculture is one species in an, that's supposed to be in an area. Okay. Then you have ecosystem stability. You should already know that. Population. Population is very important. Population here is a group of one species. And then finally, a disease is a disturbance or stress to organisms. And then finally, I put finally on that one, but we actually have one more, is resilience. And resilience is how well something bounces back. Okay, so write those, and I hope you had a good day today. Let's have a better afternoon, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Big shout out to OBS OBSBot for sponsoring our channel. This little camera is awesome. It follows you around like it's got eyes and makes everything we do look super clear and cool. We get to make fun videos for you because of them. So thanks, OBSBot. A huge thank you to Bridgestone for sponsoring our channel. You probably know them because they make super strong tires that help cars, trucks, and even race cars zoom around safely. Tires might not seem exciting, but without them, we couldn't get to school, go on road trips, or even visit our favorite places. Thanks to Bridgestone, we get to keep making these awesome videos for you. So big thanks, Bridgestone.